Now, delighted to welcome Michele and Monro here in the studios with us. Matt Monro is a legend, a superstar, sadly no longer with us, but literally recorded so much about his life, about your life with him, in that book which you've signed as well. It's an outstanding gift idea. Now, just to give you the details of how to pick up this book that Michele has written, very simply on your screen you've got some details. It's about what we're looking at right now. So The Greatest, the title of the book. We've got the CD, the DVD and the book. It's a whole set coming out to you. Your price is £35.98. The words back in stock let you know how popular this was back in April, actually, when Michele last joined us here on QVC. So don't hang about too long. If you want to pick up the phone right now, 0800, free phone from a landline, 50 40 30, takes you right through to Liverpool, maybe to place that first call and that first order, and then from that you'll get a membership number and a PIN number to be able to do it very, very simply and straightforward. 563-802. Oh, I'm just relaxed, Michele, listening, reminding myself of what a beautiful voice your father had.
That's true, but if you ask anyone what they know about Matt Monro, they'll say, oh yeah, born free, walk away from Russia with love. Oh, and he drove a bus. But that's all they know. And yet he lived a most fantastic, full and varied life, especially in the show business. So that was the reason for writing the book. You know, I felt it needed to be documented.
And it's the only book written about your father.
Yeah, there's never been one before. I've written this myself and signed these just for QVC members. And
see, that's exciting,
It is exciting. And copy of The Greatest, a brand new CD with 25 tracks on it. One never out before, called I'll Never Fall in Love Again. And then the DVD, which has his only concert that exists, and which was done in Australia, together with 23 of his most memorable television performances, and excitingly, a live Manila recording on CD in there. So it's a great all-round package.
It's amazing, actually. I mean, this is so collectible. The man himself, you know, literally to take you back into that very, very personal family album. I mean, this is lovely that you've allowed all of us into your life with him.
Well, the thing is, I remember when the publisher said, you know, could I send in a picture of the author? So I sent in one of those with me and Dad when I was only about 7. You know, I love those pictures. They bring back so many wonderful memories.
Well, that was him as a father. That was him as a daddy, as obviously you knew and loved him. But you also saw this rise to stardom.
Yeah, this icon, which to me, at the beginning, I didn't really know my life was anything different to anyone else's.
Yeah.
You know, because he was just there and Dad and at home. It was the first time I went to see a show, and I realised...
Can you remember that? So how old would you have been?
I was about 8, and I went to see a show, and, you know, the lights went down, spotlights came on, and suddenly on he walked. He looked like a giant, yet he was a very small man. He filled the stage, it was fantastic. And then he started singing and applause rippled through and I'm like, wow. And I realised I'd held my breath. And then at the end of it, everybody was standing up and going berserk. When I went backstage to the dressing room, I pushed out of the way.
You were?
Literally stampeded. And I stood back and I realised that actually there's two personas here. One is my dad and one is a completely different person. And I have to share that person.
Well, thank you for that. And actually this book is complete sharing. It must have been very emotional to write. It must have been quite hard to write in some areas. And also you're going back in time to his very early years.
Absolutely.
So you must have had to really do some research.
That's why there was 3 years of research on it. Yes, it took a long time. And you know, unfortunately he died when he was only 54 years old. But incredibly, a huge life, you know, that we needed to fit in. And I wanted to share it because it was a remarkable life. He overcame so many obstacles. I mean, such an impoverished background. In fact, it gave him license to be quite a selfish man later on, but he wasn't. He was a very humble, down-to-earth man, and I think that's what endeared him to so many millions.
I think you're right, and also just, you know, when somebody is on stage and it's like it's to you. It's
yes.
Like, oh, he's singing to me, he's looking at me, he's singing to me, and I think that's what your dad
had. He had that wonderful ability to cross the footlights and touched, you know, millions of hearts.
Let's talk about some of those amazing songs. I mean, we can hear in the background, but particularly then the one that we haven't had before, which is on the last track,
I'll Never Fall in Love Again,
previously unreleased. So how did that come about?
Well, we have so many in the vaults of EMI. When Dad used to go in the studio with Sir George Martin and Johnny Spence, they used to lay down 5 or 6 tracks and then choose 2 for a new album or single. The rest went in vaults and they were forgotten about, really. So it was only when I started snooping.
That's our girl, that's what we want.
So I decided, I mustn't have these, sort of scurried away. But he was the first singer to start the tradition of the Bond movies, because it was the first movie to have its own theme song, the second Bond movie, but the first to have its own theme.
So he made history and it
still continues today. So it's a wonderful accolade, Born Free, a wonderful movie and song, won the Academy Award, and of course he represented his country in the Eurovision Song Contest, which a lot of people don't remember.
See, this is the kind of thing that, just by literally being parry to talking with you, looking through the book, and also just having the snippets of things that we're able to show you right now in this short amount of time, from the DVD, the CD, the book itself, it just makes you realise how much more there is that we can now know. Don't you think a fantastic book to buy as a Father's Day present?
I think as a present for anybody who wants to know the business as well. It's not just about my father, but his role within the show business as it used to be. They talk about the Rat Pack, but there were, lots of packs going along, lots of little circles, and there's some wonderful Bruce Forsyth, Mike and Bernie Winters, Dave Allen. There's some fantastic stories in there.
Oh, how exciting!
As well as with the icons of America with Sammy Davis and Tony Bennett. Fantastic stories.
Michele, it is a huge pleasure to have met you. The Singer's Singer, as Matt was known. It's your chance if you'd like to place that order. Be our guest. Have this come to you in 3 to 5 days.